And as we know in this market, FUD gets bought. And it really reminds me time and time again, the stock market in 2017 has been the strongest I've ever seen. And it's doing the same thing. We will get these FUD events that lead to quick flushes, whether it's North Korea or Russia and Trump or whatever the reason. It flushes down and the bulls race hand over fist to buy that dip. And they do so aggressively, and then we rocket ship to the upside. And we're seeing that with the bulls aggressively buying these dips and seeing V-shaped recoveries. So the daily time frame now for Bitcoin has a new low, a new higher low. Previously, it was here at this low that was at 75.02. Our new higher low is down here at the low of today, 78.03. And of course, resistance is the all-time high up at 83.75. So that is our range right now that we're watching. We can zoom in for tighter ranges. We can see the 4-hour time frame is trying to form a higher low at 80.29. We'll see if that level is able to hold. Clear stair step on the 4-hour time frame. If we lose that level, we're looking back down to that 78.03 level. So looking at some more details on the flush, we had an all-out dump and oversold bounce play out. Look at that RSI touch 30 just barely and see a significant bull move. So the alert system sending off that oversold RSI. We've got an inside bar. The inside bar broke bullish at 80.48, and then we led to an all-time high. What I want to point out is that what has happened twice now with Bitcoin, and it's different than the other two. It's the fact that we see these recoveries, and as I keep saying, in normal market conditions, in every stock that I watch, in every market, we look for equilibrium patterns after these all-out dumps. It's a spike in volatility. We then look for finding the price range and cooling things off and reaching an equilibrium. Bitcoin has shaken that off time and time again, and it did it on the daily time frame as well. This V-shaped recovery to an all-time high was very unusual in terms of the amount of strength that it required to do that. And we just did that again on the hourly. So Bitcoin is showing us that there are bulls buying these dips hand over fist, and Ethereum and Litecoin didn't see the same recovery to higher highs. They saw the equilibrium pattern form, which we'll look at in just a minute, which is what I would normally expect. But Bitcoin has proven to me now to not expect that because it has so much strength behind it. We hit a top on this oversold bounce, or I should say we hit a top on the oversold bounce at the all-time high. We then pulled back and formed our higher low, and now we have a lower high. So we are seeing the range tighten now. Resistance is 82.64, and that support is 80.29. So if we look at the 15-minute time frame, we can see that dump, a little bounce, and now we're watching to see that's the range that I'd be watching in terms of the short-term action, 80.29 support and 82.64 resistance. If we see a bear break, we're looking to the dump from yesterday's low. And with regards to, the hack in USDT, I'm certainly not giving fundamental opinions on these kinds of things. Obviously, you want to be careful and protect your capital. That's what you want to do at all times. I've always been a little skeptical of USDT. I'm much more comfortable with GDAX, putting my funds into USD. I know that's not a possibility on some exchanges. Speaking of which, forgot to say that we added Polo to the Crypto Alert exchange. So we've got a dozen tickers for Bitcoin pairings and a bunch of tickers for USDT pairings on Polo. And sorry for that little tangent, but meant to say that right in the beginning. And feel free, if you want coins added to that Polo exchange for the alert system, let us know, and we will compile a list and add those to it. So back to it. Some exchanges definitely force you to get into USDT if you want to sell. So you need to be cautious. And, people are now coming out with all the drama and hypothesis of, was it really a hack, or are they covering something? Or I just really love skipping the drama and sticking to the charts. It makes life so much easier. You need to follow the fundamentals of what's going on. But in instances like this, and whether Bitcoin Cash is the new Bitcoin and all this, I just skip that personally. And I just look to keep making profit every day. And again, it's the kind of things where if you're positioning yourself in long-term holdings, it's much more important than if you're a shorter-term trader. So here we have Bitcoin pulling back. If we break this low of 80.29, we're looking down at our low of last night, 78.03. So we are potentially entering consolidation mode. We'll watch if the 4-hour chart gives us some lower highs and lower lows, keeping in mind the daily chart just had a 3-day breakout and consolidation would be healthy. And we've essentially shot from 5,500 up to 83.75 in just over a week. So consolidation on the daily, certainly not a red flag at this point. Ethereum. So here's what I'm talking about. Let's start with the daily. But The daily time frame has multiple tops, and right now at this point, it's very clear we have resistance in the 370s and support in the 350s. We have three tops on the daily at 374.70, 373.75, 373, and we bounced off the 350s multiple times as that was previous resistance, and now it's support. So on the 4-hour time frame, we are in a ascending triangle pattern to a degree. And you could put your resistance line in a couple different places. If you're using real bodies of the candlesticks, you're putting it right there. But we're watching an uptrend support line, and I would be watching this level right here to see if the bulls can maintain their higher lows. And that is a support level we just bounced off of. Anything above 355.10, the low of the pullback, will keep the bulls in control. But my point on the hourly time frame, let's look at that FUD dump. Huge bounce, really nice gains to be had there. The 15-minute RSI going off, and of course price shears going off with this kind of volatility. But the bounce was a V-shaped recovery, but we didn't break to higher highs. We didn't break the high of the bounce that we had at that point. So we've got resistance at 373 and all those levels I just said, and now our lower high is 372.20, and now we're pulling back. So this is the normal pattern that I would always expect after a spike in volatility and a breakout or a dump. Our high, low, lower high, higher low pattern. And the point is Bitcoin doesn't do that, or it hasn't been doing that because it is so bullish. So that's important to keep in mind. So right now, looking back at the 15-minute to zoom in, just like we did with Bitcoin, the top of this most recent bounce attempt was up at 368.29. Really nice $13 bounce in just a couple hours, but we're now pulling back again. So we are going to look for the range to tighten. I would expect 355.10 to hold and a higher low to form, then a lower high, higher low before a clear break at some point later tonight. So the bottom line is we're still recovering from that FUD volatility, and we're finding our price range within that range, and the hourly time frames giving us a nice equilibrium pattern to be watching with our most recent higher low at 355.10. Litecoin, same thing. We'll start with the daily here first, but we've got a bit of a resistance and we're pulling back. The most recent higher low on the daily was 65.62. Anything above 65.62 maintains a higher low for the bulls. The 4-hour time frame, though, look at the V-shaped recovery. We didn't make it the whole way back. We're looking for the equilibrium pattern. Here it is on the hourly. Our high, low of the dump. We did get oversold on the hourly. Ethereum was the only one of these big three not to get oversold on the hourly because it was coming from such a strong area leading into that dump. But we have our low. We had an inside bar bull break at $70, and that was a nice indication as we headed up to 72.43 after that. But it's our high, low, lower high, and now we're looking for a higher low. If 70 breaks right now while I'm talking, we're going to see a quick flush as we see some stop loss orders trigger, and it looks like we did just break 70. So we're now looking for a higher low to form compared to $68. And this is a potential trade that you can make as a shorter term trader where you're anticipating that higher low to form. You're using this low of $68 as your stop loss, and you're trying to enter a position somewhere maybe in the low $69 range. There goes those stop losses, but a low $69 range, perhaps a high $68 range, and then using that level. So we're very quickly approaching that. The 15-minute RSI right back to oversold right now. So getting some alerts on that. And we are watching Ethereum not as weak. So Ethereum, again, just to compare, 15-minute time frame, also heading towards oversold, but we're not as close to a break of 355.10 support. But we're looking for the same thing. We can be looking for a higher low to form, and we're using 355.10 as support on that potential trade. We're not expecting a trend change or a long-term hold on that kind of entry, which I would call a bottom fishing play. But let's just look at it right now as we're getting close here on Litecoin. And I might have to stop this video and put some orders in where we are looking for an entry down here and putting our stop below it. And on a bounce, we would just be looking for, a dollar to the upside would be a successful trade on this kind of bottom fishing play. So the bears are in control. The 15-minute RSI is getting quickly oversold. Checking to see if Bitcoin has broken bearish yet. Not yet. We're coming down to that 80.29 support, and we're going to be right back to oversold again on the 15-minute time frame. Hourly RSI heading back down, still at 40, long way to go. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place here, but we do have a lot of short-term action going on right now. So I'll go back and give the key wrap up here in just a moment. Let's get NEO done. NEO is pulling back on the daily, and the bears are in full control. Again, fundamentals here. The PR team dropped the ball. People disappointed, but we're looking for a higher low on the daily, and a higher low will occur anywhere above 25.37. So I'm watching the 4-hour time frame here and seeing a clear lower high, lower low pattern. Our most recent lower high was 37.61, and our support right now, aside from the low of the day, is down at 32.85. and we have a higher low at 33.24. So that's a little higher low. And if from here, if we were to break 37.61, that would be a little higher low and then a break of this pattern favoring the bulls. There's going to be a nice bull entry approaching on NEO. I don't like it yet because I don't have a break of this lower high downtrend on the 4-hour time frame, but that's something to be watching for, again, because we are anticipating a higher low on the daily to form, and we're going to be looking for a bull MAC decross on the 4-hour time frame to also give follow through and indicate when the trend has changed. That's an alert that I would absolutely want to have send me a signal if we get a 4-hour bull MAC decross on NEO, but just patiently waiting right now. Not convinced consolidation is done just yet, and we need to see a break of the lower high pattern. So just to wrap it up here, Bitcoin, nice hold of support at this point, 80.29 key short-term support, 82.64 key short-term resistance. Ethereum in the equilibrium pattern, key support is 355.10. We're looking for a higher low compared to that level. Short-term resistance is 368.29, the high of the most recent bounce. Litecoin support is down at $68, and we've got multiple resistances on the way down with our most recent one, 71.31, and we'll see if we're going to head down a bit further and give some oversold opportunities on the 15-minute and potentially hourly timeframes. So keep an eye on NEO. I am liking sometime in the next couple of days, we are, in my opinion, going to break the lower high pattern and see a bullish entry opportunity. Again, that Black Friday sale is going to run until this weekend or once those 20 are used up. I appreciate you all watching. We'll continue to put out the videos. Personally, I'm all cash right now and might look to play an oversold bounce in the near term, but a whole lot going on, trading a lot of stocks. Canadian MJ is going wild. These blockchain stocks, I've been putting out these videos. Check out the YouTube channel. If you trade stocks, these blockchain stocks have a lot of hype, obviously fueled by Bitcoin all-time highs, but really a lot of attention from me has been going into those names the past couple days. And it's always a balance between stocks and cryptocurrency, as there's certainly opportunity in both. I appreciate it again, and we'll see you tomorrow.